And next up, you knew I was excited for this one. Me and my royal movies. You give me Lacey Chabert and anything, I'm very excited. I love Lacey Chabert so much. I've loved her for so many years. She is my favorite star on the Hallmark Channel. No hate towards anybody else. I've just watched her for a lot longer on the Hallmark Channel. I'm more connected to her than a lot of other actors. A Merry Scottish Christmas. When estranged siblings, Lindsay and Brad, travel to Scotland at Christmas to reunite with their mother, Jo. A big family secret is revealed. We already know from the previews that their mother was royalty. We're going to throw away the unbelievability that they hid. She hid that from them and all that good stuff, because this is a film. If you bring a lot of realism into it, it's going to be a bad film. With this film, what you look at is the romance, but also the great chemistry between Scott Wolf and Lacey Chabert, who have been a brother and sister on a series, I believe, called Party of Five. This is a movie that is basically about three things. Well, four things, really. And I think they tackled all four things pretty well, except minus one thing that could have been handled a little bit better. But I still liked how they ended it. We have a story involving them being a little bit angry with their mother for not letting them meet their grandparents or their uncle. You have a story where she just wants to go back to work. She's a workaholic. She's worried about work, but also she falls in love with a helping hand in the castle. I don't know quite how to say that. He's not really a hand, but he's more of like a helper with the castle things, and he knows how it runs.
I think he calls himself the groundskeeper, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Then we have Scott Wolf and his wife. The brother and his wife, that was the story that they gave very little attention to. The wife was very underutilized, a very likable actress. She did a fantastic job in here when she had some legitimate lines, but mostly she's just there as his wife. You do add a little bit of a story in there that did not work for me personally, about them having a troubled marriage, because the troubled marriage is not really focused upon all that lot. It's mostly about them trying to come up with things like, hey, how are we going to take over the royal duties? How are we going to handle this? Because we know nothing about it. We did not grow up in this atmosphere. We don't know the laws. We don't know this. But we do have a nice scene involving I just lost his name. Will Kemp. Will Kemp in a cameo here. If you don't know, he's a legitimate dancer, and he dances. They had a nice, very funny reference to Christmas Waltz. Lacey walks up to him and says, I only know the waltz and tango. Giving a callback to their two other films they did together involving dancing, The Dancing Detective and A Christmas Waltz. Very funny. I'm liking all these cameos. Give me more of these because they're very funny. But if you would have taken away the marriage troubles, then this could have been a better film. Or if you could have given more attention to the marriage troubles, take away a scene of, say, maybe them learning that the uncle had passed away, and there's a law where it has to come down to a next of kin. He didn't have any kids. Maybe a next of kin in that country could be a niece or nephew, because the sister can't do it. I think you could have done a better job with that. But the chemistry between Lacey and her love interest was there. He was very charming, very likable guy. Scott Wolf and Lacey Chabert have tremendous chemistry here. I enjoyed this film overall. If you would have fixed the marriage in here, the marriage subplot, I thought it could have been a higher film, a 5 out of 5, but I'm still going with a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed the heck out of this film. And if you would have told me that this was going to be the highest rated film of the Hallmark weekend, I would have agreed with you, but not by how much. And we'll get into that in just a minute or two. But that was crazy. What did you think about this film? And did you like it the same as me?
Uh, I was very nervous about this one because I know in the preview I was telling you how it seemed weird that their mom would have this Scottish accent and neither one of them would have it. And then of course you get the fact that they, as the movie got started, that they didn't even know their mom was royal, or they had a whole royal side of the family, how she kept that from them for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
But surprisingly, I really enjoyed this movie. Yes, it had some minor story flaws with the two I just named, and then the fact that them having to put the castle up for sale and all that probably isn't the realistic route that would happen if they chose not to take the throne or whatever. You know, they kind of stretched the truth a little bit on what would actually happen to that. But really, the only issue I had was the same as yours, and that was the brother and his wife storyline. I mean, it seemed like they resolved all their problems by just accepting the throne of him being, you know, the Duke and her being the Duchess, kind of like wiped all their issues away, in my opinion. And that's just a lazy way, I guess, in a way to fix the issues. I mean, I know they were trying to wrap it up because it was getting towards the end of the movie, but they definitely should have figured out something different with that. But overall, I thought the cameo was great, and I gave this one, same as you, a 4.5 out of 5. I was very shocked by it. Hopefully, her next film is just going to be just as good, if not better, because we got the new one coming up. So,